Founded in 1992 in Tokyo, Japan by former Konami employees who were sick of making sequels, the developer Treasure is known for some amazing games. Treasure earned a reputation for making fast-paced shooters and platformers that push hardware to the limit. Check out their library on this episode of C64 Gaming Archives. Released in 1993, Gunstar Heroes is a run-and-gun shooter for the Sega Genesis. This masterpiece has awesome graphics, gameplay, and fun to be had. Definitely check this one out any way you possibly can. Ronald McDonald and friends hunt for treasure in this Genesis platformer. Magic sparkles hurt people, and you swing with a scarf, just like in real life. The game is surprisingly decent and worth checking out, but not much of a reason to come back once you've beaten it. Another classic platformer on the Genesis. Like Rayman, before Rayman, your head isn't really attached to your body and it hurts people. Super hard, but super worth your time. A 2D fighter with multiple planes on the Genesis and based on the popular anime of the same name. Don't expect your Street Fighter skills to translate directly with its unique style. Not a bad fighter, but probably more fun if you're a fan of the source material. An absolutely intense run-and-gun shooter for the Genesis. Its absurdly long and convoluted plot is contrasted by its short and to-the-point levels. This is basically Boss Rush the game, and needs to be played if you're up for the challenge. An isometric action RPG with heavy puzzle elements for the Sega Genesis. Push barrels on switches and burn up weird plant monsters as you keep going deeper into the dungeon. We found it tedious to play, but it definitely could be enjoyed if that's your thing. An arcade-style beat-em-up with light RPG elements for the Saturn. Lots of characters, fun special moves, and lots of replay value. Hunt this game down and play it because it freaking rules. A unique action platformer for the Nintendo 64 where you grab, shake, and throw your foes. Great pixel art, amazing level variety, and fun boss fights. Criminally underrated and needs to be played this instant.
Shake, shake! Yeah! 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 Shake, shake!
A slower-paced run-and-gun shooter for the Saturn and PlayStation with a color change gimmick. The graphics are decent, but the main mechanic is often more annoying than fun. Probably pass on this one. A 2D shooter that needs no introduction. Great graphics and gameplay combined with a wide variety of weapons. It might not change your mind if you're not a fan of the genre, but just know that you're wrong if it doesn't. A cool, stylized 3D brawler on the PlayStation. Smacking your balls against each other lets you unleash a devastating attack. All around good time and worth a try for sure. Giant robots never look so small in this 2D shoot-'em-up. Quirky characters make tons of explosions in this fast-paced game. It can get a bit hectic and might try your patience, but it's worth a try. On-rails 3D shooter where you blast monsters and aliens while dodging for your life. Amazing visuals considering the platform, and truly grand gameplay moments. You might wrestle with the controls at first, but this game is an absolute masterpiece. Play it. A vertical shooter on the PlayStation 2. Select 2 weapons at the beginning and middle of the level and shoot bad guys. Nothing terribly remarkable, but there is some fun to be had here.
Stretch Panic!
An action platformer for the PlayStation 2. A quirky art direction makes it fun to look at, but controlling the game is another story. Professional reviewers were harsh on the game when it came out, and we're inclined to agree. A vertical shooter that originally appeared in the arcades of Japan. The polarity shift mechanic is executed perfectly and creates many fun and intense situations. One of Treasure's masterpieces and definitely worth your time. A 2D platforming beat-em-up adventure that features a unique partner selection mechanic to combat numerous waves of enemies. Overall, it's a neat idea that tickles the nostalgia bug of every 90s kid. However, the gameplay loop ends up getting repetitive very quick. A first-person boxing game for the Game Boy Advance. Features some decent visuals with characters from the anime, but still a little confusing to control. With no official English translation available, you're better off passing on the fighting and playing Punch-Out instead.
Welcome to Wario World!
Oh my god! A 3D platformer for the GameCube. Great visuals, gameplay, and replayability make this game pretty great. if not a little short. Worth checking out if you enjoy the genre. A 3D shooter on the GameCube and only released in Japan. A whiny anime kid uses a dragon to shoot other whiny anime kids and their dragons. The game is not fun, and it's doubtful that even a fan of the anime would like it. A fast-paced and surprisingly exciting side-scrolling action game that also offers a fair amount of depth in leveling up Astro Boy's abilities. Sharp visuals, crisp gameplay, fun all around. If you're into Mega Man X, this very well may be up your alley. A horizontal shooter on the PlayStation 2. Gradius has a long pedigree, and this game certainly falls in line with the rest. A great game for fans of the genre. Follow-up to the previous title on the Saturn. This bout implements a barrier ability that allows players to conjure spells and counter or reflect attacks. Advanced Guardian Heroes is fun enough, but the gameplay may come across as a little bit clunky for fans of the previous game. A worthy successor to Treasure's iconic debut title. Gunstar Heroes is a beautiful game on the Game Boy Advance that offers yet another brisk, hectic, and exciting adventure for fans of the run and gun genre. This is a game that needs to be played.
Bleach.
Not a bad title by any means, but this game doesn't really bring anything new to the table in the 2D fighting genre. Whether or not you're a fan of the Bleach series, there are other 2D fighter games that are much more unique and exciting. It's really pretty though.
You're in the way. You're in the way.
Bleach. Arcade mode.
Another 2D fighting game in the Bleach series that's just more of the same. Except for some new characters and moves, it's almost the exact same game as the previous title. The subheading Dark Souls continues to instill a false sense of excitement for many would-be players. I wonder why. The sequel to Bangai-O, but now a little bit smaller and on the DS. The same frantic shooter style is here, but the visuals are not quite on par with its predecessor. Not amazing, but not bad either.
Bleach vs. Crusader.
A 3D anime arena fighter for the Wii. Visuals represent the anime well, and the character swapping mechanic keeps you interested for a few minutes. But if you played one anime-based arena fighter, you've played them all. Pass. also the Nintendo 64 masterpiece. Plays much the same and ramps up the spectacle big time. Definitely worth your time to track this one down. Yet another Bangai-O game, but this time it's on the 360. Looks good and plays the same. If you like the others, you'll like this one. A 3D action game on the 3DS. Based on an anime that never made it to the West. Fairly unremarkable in gameplay, but high production value. Still not worth pursuing unless you're a fan of the source material. Update to the original Gaist Crusher on the 3DS. Includes all the original game and then some. If you had no interest in the last game, this will do nothing to change your mind. You just watched every Treasure game from 1992 to 2020. If you enjoyed what you saw from C64 Gaming Archives, be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment suggesting topics for our next episode. See you next time.